When a woman begins to forget key moments of her life, she suspects early onset dementia until a mysterious stranger tells her the truth. A sprawling, majestic antebellum mansion, Blackwood Manor, stands framed by ancient, sprawling oak trees, their branches heavy with Spanish moss. The architecture speaks of old money, deep history, and perhaps buried secrets. A grand circular driveway leads to its imposing front doors. A sleek, modern SUV pulls up. Ava Carter, a poised woman, steps out, looking up at the house with a mix of awe and trepidation. Daniel Blackwood, her husband, gets out from the driver's side, smiling warmly at her. Daniel said, "Welcome home, my love." Or welcome to the ancestral home, anyway. Bigger than the pictures, huh? Ava nods slowly, her gaze sweeping over the vast estate. Ava said, "It's grand and quiet. So very quiet." Daniel replied, "That's the South for you. A different pace. You'll get used to it." He puts an arm around her, pulling her close. They look like a picture of domestic bliss, but a subtle unease flickers in Ava's eyes. The double doors swing open. The foyer is vast, with a sweeping staircase and polished dark wood. Eleanor Blackwood, Daniel's mother, stands at the foot of the stairs. She is immaculately dressed, regal and composed, with an air of polite formality. Her gaze lingers on Ava for a moment, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. Before settling on Daniel with a warm smile, Eleanor said, "Daniel, my darling, you made it." She embraces Daniel, a perfectly elegant hug. Then she turns to Ava. Eleanor continued, "And Ava, how lovely to finally have you here. Welcome to Blackwood Manor. We've been so looking forward to your arrival." Eleanor extends a manicured hand. Ava takes it. Eleanor's grip is firm, her smile polite but distant. Ava replied, "Thank you, Mrs. Blackwood. It's a beautiful home." Eleanor smiled. "Please, Ava, call me Eleanor. We're family now. Though I dare say it's quite a change from your bustling city life, isn't it? Our little town is quaint." The word quaint hangs in the air, tinged with a subtle implication of being beneath Ava's usual sphere. "Daniel, Mother, where's Father?" Eleanor replied, "Your father is resting. The doctor was just here. His condition, it's stable for now. Martha will show you to your rooms. Do freshen up before lunch." Martha, the long-time housekeeper, a quiet black woman with kind but weary eyes, appears from a doorway. She offers a small, almost imperceptible nod to Ava. Martha said, "Mrs. Carter, Mr. Daniel, if you would follow me." As Ava follows Martha, she glances back. Eleanor is watching her, a faint, almost imperceptible smirk playing on her lips. The bedroom is opulent, old-fashioned, with heavy drapes and antique furniture. Ava walks around, touching things, a little overwhelmed. "Daniel is already unpacking?" Ava said, "It's a lot. I hope I can remember where everything is." Daniel said, "You'll get the hang of it. Just give it time. Father's room is just down the hall. We'll set up shifts." He pulls her into a hug. Daniel continued, "Thank you for doing this. Ava, I know it's a huge sacrifice for your work. It means the world to me." Ava said, "Of course. He's my father-in-law, and you need me." She smiles, trying to push down the vague sense of being an outsider. Lunch is a formal affair. Eleanor presides over the table. Robert Blackwood, Daniel's father, is not present. Martha serves silently. Eleanor said, "Daniel tells me you're quite the entrepreneur. Ava, a marketing firm, isn't it?" "Very modern." Ava said, "Yes, Eleanor. We specialize in digital campaigns. It's rewarding work." Eleanor said, "I'm sure. Though I confess, I find these digital distractions quite taxing. My memory, you see, sometimes I forget where I've put my spectacles, or which day is Tuesday. But then I am an old woman. You, on the other hand, are in the prime of your youth." Ava feels a prickle of annoyance. The conversation feels like a subtle probe. Ava is on her laptop, trying to catch up on emails. She reaches for her reading glasses, which she's sure she left on the small table beside her. They're not there. She searches around the room, then the adjacent hallway. Frustrated, she returns to the sitting room. The glasses are now neatly folded on the table. Ava stares at them, a frown on her face. She distinctly remembers searching that spot. Ava said to herself, "That's odd." Ava walks into the kitchen. Martha is cleaning up after dinner. Ava said, "Martha, I could use a cup of chamomile. It's been a long day." Martha said, "Oh, Mrs. Carter, I thought you had already taken yours. I put it on your knitstand about an hour ago, like you asked." Ava blinks. AVA said, I didn't ask for tea, and I haven't been in the bedroom since dinner." Martha pauses, a fleeting look of concern crossing her face. Martha said, "Really? I was sure you did. My apologies, ma'am. I must be getting old, too. I'll make you a fresh one." Ava walks away, a cold knot forming in her stomach. She knew she hadn't asked for tea. Daniel is asleep. Ava is wide awake, staring at the ceiling. She's too unnerved to sleep. She can't shake the feeling of things being out of place. Moments she doesn't remember. Ava said, "At first, it was just little things. A misplaced key, a comment about a forgotten conversation. I dismissed it as stress, a new environment. But the feeling, it was like my reality was being subtly warped." Ava is looking for a book on Southern history. She searches the vast shelves. Eleanor enters. Eleanor asked, "Looking for something, dear?" Ava said, "Just a book on the local area. I was sure I saw it on this shelf yesterday." Eleanor walks over, her gaze sweeping the shelf. Eleanor said, "Ah, that old thing. I believe Daniel took it to his father's room. He was hoping to read to him. Your memory must be playing tricks on you, dear. It happens to the best of us, especially with so much on your mind. My mother, bless her soul, started misplacing everything around your age. It was such a worry." Ava feels a prickle of annoyance. Eleanor's concern felt less like empathy and more like a subtle insinuation. Ava empties her small travel toiletry bag into a drawer. As she arranges items, her fingers brush against something hard tucked deep in the back. She pulls it out, a small amber prescription bottle. It's half empty. The label is peeled off, unreadable. Ava stares at the pills inside, a rising dread in her chest. She doesn't take any medication. Who put this here, and why? She confronts Daniel. Ava asked, "Daniel, what are these?" Daniel looks at the bottle, frowning. Daniel asked, "I don't know, Ava. Are they yours? Maybe something from when you moved?" AVA said, "No, I don't take pills. And this bottle is almost empty." Daniel said, "Well, it's probably nothing. An old bottle Martha found, or maybe Mother uses them. Don't worry about it. You're overthinking things." He dismisses it, making Ava feel even more isolated. Ava is writing in a beautiful leather-bound journal. She meticulously records the strange occurrences. "Found pills in my drawer. Not mine. Eleanor keeps mentioning my memory. Martha says I asked for tea when I didn't." Later, Ava opens the journal. Her eyes widen. The pages containing her recent entries are gone, neatly torn out. She flips through, heart pounding. She searches her room frantically, tearing apart drawers, looking under the bed. The pages are nowhere to be found. Ava, agitated, confronts Daniel. Ava said, "Daniel, someone tore pages out of my journal, the ones where I wrote about all the strange things happening." Daniel looks at her, his expression a mixture of exasperation and concern. Daniel said, "Ava, are you sure? Maybe you just put it down somewhere else? Or perhaps you're just stressed. This move, Father's illness. It's a lot." AVA said, "No, I know what I wrote, and I know those pages are gone. Someone is doing this." Daniel said, "Who, Ava? Mother? Martha? It's absurd. They love you. They care about you." He shakes his head, turning away. Ava feels a crushing sense of despair. Even Daniel, her husband, is starting to doubt her. Ava can't sleep. She gets up and walks towards the window. As she passes the antique dresser, she notices a tiny, almost imperceptible gleam. She leans closer. Tucked discreetly into the ornate wood carving, a tiny pinhole lens glints back at her. A camera. Her blood runs cold. She checks other corners of the room, behind books and lamps. She finds another one, cleverly disguised as a decorative button on a curtain tie-back. A VA said, the whispers were no longer just in my mind. They were real, and they were watching. Ava confronts Daniel, holding one of the tiny cameras. Ava said, Daniel, explain this. I found this in our bedroom. And another. Someone is watching us. Comma. Daniel takes the camera, his face paling. He turns it over in his hands. Daniel said, what? This must be one of Father's old security cameras. He was very particular about security after the attempted break-in years ago. It's probably not even active. AVA asked. Active or not, why would it be in our bedroom? And why haven't you told me about them? Daniel said, I just forgot. It's been a long time. Look, I'll check the system. I promise. He tries to reassure her, but his evasiveness only fuels her suspicion. Daniel sits at a computer, looking through security footage. Ava watches over his shoulder. He scrolls through feeds of the common areas, the grounds. Ava asked, what about our room? Is there footage from there? Daniel clicks a few times, then shakes his head. Daniel said, it's strange, the cameras in our room. In the hall outside, they show no recent recordings. The system says the files are corrupted or missing. Must be a glitch. Ava stares at the screen, a chilling realization dawning on her. The footage isn't missing. It's been removed deliberately. Ava walks down the long, dimly lit hallway. She hears a faint, almost imperceptible, whispering sound. It seems to come from the walls themselves, or perhaps from behind a closed door. She stops, straining to hear. The sound stops. She moves, it starts again, like voices just beyond the threshold of audibility. She sees shadows darting at the edge of her vision, too fleeting to confirm. She tries to open the door to a spare room she suspects the sounds are coming from. But it's locked. Ava sits at the table, picking at her food. Eleanor and Daniel are present. She decides to confront them directly. Ava said, Eleanor, Daniel, I know what's happening. Someone is trying to make me believe I'm going crazy. The missing items, the pills, the journal pages, the cameras, the whispers. I know you're behind this. Eleanor calmly places her napkin on the table. Her eyes are cold. Eleanor said, Ava, this is precisely what we feared. Daniel, do you see? Her imagination is running wild. Daniel said, Ava, please. You're not well. No one is trying to hurt you. We love you. AVA insisted. Love me? You're gaslighting me. You're trying to drive me insane. Eleanor sighed dramatically. This is deeply distressing. Daniel, perhaps it's time we consider Dr. Jenkins's recommendation for a professional evaluation. For her own good, of course. This behavior is escalating. Ava feels a surge of panic. An evaluation. She knows what that means. Institutionalization? AVA continued. No, you can't. I'm not crazy. Eleanor said to Daniel, ignoring Ava. It's a difficult decision, I know. But we have a responsibility to protect her, and to protect the family's peace. Ava stares at Daniel, pleading with her eyes. But his gaze is distant, weighed down by his mother's words. The love she once saw there is now clouded by doubt and a weary resignation. Ava is alone, pacing. The walls feel like they're closing in. She now knows with terrifying certainty that her in-laws are orchestrating this. She pulls out her phone, dialing Sarah. Ava said, Sarah, I need your help. I'm in trouble. Real trouble. Sarah said, Ava, what's wrong? You sound terrible. Ava said, they're trying to institutionalize me. Eleanor and Daniel. They're trying to make me think I'm losing my mind. They're poisoning me, I think. And they want to get rid of me. Comma. Sarah said, what? Ava, that's insane. Are you safe? Get out of there. Ava said, I can't, not yet. I need proof. They've been deleting footage, taking my journal. I need you to be ready. If I send you anything at all, you have to make it public, immediately. Do you understand? Sarah said, I understand. Be careful, Ava, please. Ava hangs up, her mind racing. She has to play their game now. She has to pretend to break. Ava starts her performance. She walks into the living room where Eleanor and Daniel are reading. She's disheveled, hair wild. She starts muttering to herself. AVA whispered loudly, "The walls are talking to me. They know the secrets. The secrets in the walls." Eleanor and Daniel exchange a look of grim satisfaction. Daniel said, "Ava, dear, are you all right?" AVA giggled maniacally. "Oh, perfectly fine, Daniel, my boy. The little red ants told me you're hiding something in the sugar bowl." She then starts rearranging furniture, humming a discordant tune. Eleanor said to Daniel, "It's worse than I thought. Call Dr. Jenkins immediately." Ava sees Eleanor enter Robert Blackwood's room. She follows discreetly, hiding behind a heavy curtain. She sees Eleanor checking Robert's four drip, making a subtle adjustment. She then places a small, empty vial in a hidden compartment in her own dress. Ava said, "I had seen this play out before, in stories. The fragile patriarch, the controlling matriarch. But this was real, and now I knew how they planned to frame my breakdown." Later that night, Ava sneaks into Daniel's study. She knows he keeps the main home security server here. She connects a small USB drive she bought in town to the server, hoping to copy any remaining footage. She's quick, efficient. She manages to download several large files before she hears a floorboard creak. She hides just as Daniel enters, looking tired. He glances at the computer, then rubs his eyes and turns away. Ava slips out. Heart pounding. Ava quickly plugs the USB into her phone, sending the newly acquired video files to Sarah. One of the files is a grainy, but clear, recording from a camera, hidden in a hallway that shows Eleanor removing the pages from Ava's journal. Another shows Martha, looking distressed, placing a forgotten item where Ava would find it. Then Eleanor entering the room moments later to subtly adjust it. It wasn't Martha being forgetful. It was Martha being manipulated or forced. Just as the last file is sent, she hears footsteps outside the door. She shoves the USB under the mattress. Ava, still in her feigned agitated state, wanders into Eleanor's room. She pretends to be confused, picking up Eleanor's jewelry. AVA said, "Oh, shiny things, like little stars fallen from the sky." Eleanor is exasperated but tries to maintain composure. Eleanor asked, "Ava, dear, what are you doing in here? You should be resting." AVA said, "But the stars are calling me. They want me to dance with them." As Eleanor tries to coax her out, Ava suddenly slips a small, hidden voice recorder she'd bought earlier into a vase on Eleanor's bedside table. She hopes to capture a damning confession. A few days later, Ava's condition has seemingly worsened. She mutters more, her eyes dart around, and she sometimes screams at shadows. Eleanor has made all the arrangements, with Dr. Jenkins for an emergency evaluation. Ava, pretending to be wandering aimlessly, hides near Eleanor's study. She hears Eleanor speaking to Dr. Jenkins on the phone. The hidden recorder in the vase is still active, connected to a small receiver in Ava's pocket. Eleanor said, "OS on speakerphone." "Yes, doctor." Her delusions are worsening. She believes we are trying to harm her. It's quite severe. You are certain the facility is discreet, and her case will be handled sensitively? Ava slips back into her room, trembling. She extracts the recorder from the vase later when she can. She has it all. The plotting, the financial motives, the chilling casualness with which they plan her demise. She immediately transfers the audio file to Sarah. AVA said, "My facade of madness was now my shield. Every tear, every scream, every delusion was a stroke in my painting of sanity's unraveling. They saw what they wanted to see. I used it to give them a false sense of security." A sleek, black, unmarked car pulls up the driveway, followed by an ambulance. Dr. Jenkins steps out, accompanied by two large male orderlies. Eleanor and Daniel are on the porch, looking grave. Eleanor said to Daniel, "It's for the best, darling. For everyone." Ava, playing her role, starts screaming from an upstairs window, her hair wild, her eyes wide with feigned terror. AVA screamed, "No, you can't take me. I'm not crazy. I'm not." The whispers are real. They're planning something. The orderlies move inside. Daniel looks torn, a flicker of genuine distress on his face as he watches Ava's breakdown. The orderlies gently, but firmly, try to take Ava. She struggles, making it look convincing, yelling about poison and plots. She glances at Martha, who is watching from a doorway, a look of profound sorrow and subtle understanding in her eyes. AVA screamed, "They want to kill me. They want the money." Dr. Jenkins approaches, a syringe in hand. Dr. Jenkins said, "Just a little something to calm her, Mrs. Blackwood." Ava thrashes, making it difficult for them. She needs more time. Sarah's phone buzzes with an alert. News notifications are flooding in. She clicks on a link. It's a major online news outlet. The headline blazes. Shocking audio alleges. Plot to murder wife for inheritance. Prominent Southern family implicated. Below it are transcribed excerpts of Eleanor's and Dr. Jenkins's conversation, alongside snippets from Ava's journal and grainy security footage of Eleanor tearing pages. The internet is in an uproar. Sarah whispered in shock, "Oh my God, Ava." She immediately dials a journalist friend. Just as an orderly manages to pin Ava's arm for the injection, sirens wail in the distance. Not an ambulance. Police sirens. A few moments later, multiple police cruisers screech to a halt in the driveway. Detective Washington, a formidable black woman, steps out, flanked by uniformed officers. Detective Washington said, "Eleanor Blackwood." "Dr. Jenkins, we have warrants for your arrest." Eleanor's face goes from calm satisfaction to absolute shock. Daniel stares, utterly bewildered. Eleanor protested. "What is the meaning of this? This is an outrage." Detective Washington explained. "The meaning, ma'am, is that the internet just blew up with a recording of you discussing your daughter-in-law's murder, and we have video evidence of tampering with her property." The orderlies release Ava. Ava stands, her madness instantly gone. Her eyes are clear, sharp, and triumphant. She looks at Eleanor, who looks like she's seen a ghost. "Ava," said, voice steady, clear, "they tried to erase me." Officers move in to arrest Eleanor and Dr. Jenkins. Eleanor glares at Ava, pure venom in her eyes. Daniel just stands there, stunned, watching his mother being led away in handcuffs. Martha watches from the doorway, a small, knowing smile finally gracing her lips. Detective Washington is questioning Daniel. He looks utterly shattered. Daniel said, I didn't know, I swear. I thought she was just getting worse." Mother said, Detective Washington said, "Your mother orchestrated a systematic campaign of gaslighting and psychological torment to drive your wife to the brink, Mr. Blackwood, and then she planned to have her institutionalized and killed. You chose to believe your mother over your wife." Daniel buries his face in his hands, tears streaming down. Ava, impeccably dressed and composed, walks onto a brightly lit television studio set. She takes a seat opposite a seasoned news anchor. The cameras roll. News anchor asked, "Mrs. Carter, the events of the past few months have captivated the nation. Your story, your courage, it's extraordinary. How does it feel to finally be able to tell your truth?" Ava looks directly into the camera, her eyes unwavering. There's no hint of the terrified, confused woman from Blackwood Manor. Ava said, "It feels powerful. For so long I felt like I was losing myself. They chipped away at my memories, at my sanity, at my very identity. They created a narrative for me, a narrative of mental instability, of weakness. They sought to erase who I was." She pauses, a quiet strength radiating from her. AVA continued, "But the human spirit, it has a way of remembering. Even when others try to rewrite your story, you remember the core of who you are. The truth has a stubborn way of coming out, no matter how deeply it's buried under lies and prejudice." The news anchor nods, visibly moved. News anchor asked, "And for other women, for anyone who might be experiencing something similar, what would you say to them?" Ava takes a breath, her voice resonating with conviction. Ava said, "Trust yourself. Trust your gut. Don't let anyone define your reality for you. And if you feel like you're slipping, if you feel like your world is being twisted, reach out. Find your voice. Find your truth, because it's the most powerful weapon you have." Ava concluded, "They tried to erase me, but I remembered who I was before they ever tried to rewrite me." Ava's gaze holds steady on the camera, a beacon of resilience and defiance. The credits begin to roll. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more compelling stories, Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more narratives like this to life.